so we might be live, we might
Oh,
not.
there we go.
Live. We are live.
We're live. We're live. Hello, everyone. I'm Tina from Inlightin Energy. And with me co-hosting is Julie.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, so Julie, she's from Arizona.
Yes.
And I'm up here in Canada. And we've known each other for about a year and a half now.
Okay.
And we click. Yeah, we click. And so we thought, like, we came up with this idea and we thought we'll give it a go. And a lot of this is not scripted, and we're new to this kind of medium.
Yes.
So bear with us. Yeah. And oh, and I have to say a disclaimer.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So Julie and I, we may slip out the odd swear word. So it's not to offend anyone. Yeah, so we just wanted to warn, those who are listening, because they might not like that kind of language, and we don't mean any ill will by it. It's just part of our personalities. So yeah. So how are you?
I can't do it. I've tried very hard to censor myself. I do in my professional life, very specific, but
Yeah.
it's go time.
Yeah. So
yes, disclaimer.
yeah, it's just so we do that. So we're going to talk about September's energies, and I am going to talk a bit about what they mean according to numerology, because I do numerology. I have, I think, just over 30 years experience. I started as a teenager, and numerology is one of my passions. I just love this medium. And Julie knows the tarot quite well, inside and out. So she's going to talk. Yeah, I think you do. Yeah. Don't knock yourself down. And so Julie's going to talk about the tarot, in particular the Fool, because that's what came through as part of the energy forecast for the collective for the month of September. And also, we're going to talk a bit too about the mountain goat. And it's interesting because what Julie discovered, according to the tarot and the mountain goat. So yeah, I hope she, shares that story, because I thought that was quite spectacular. And we welcome whoever's listening, and I hope there's quite a few of you joining, to please leave a comment, ask questions. Because we're going to be checking the side there for what you guys write, and we'll see how it goes. So deep breath, I guess. We're both a bit nervous.
Yeah, it's new. Anything new.
It's new. Yeah, we're not used to this. Yeah, we're both, I think, like private people. Yeah. So I guess should I start with September?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. On that, and
so I made a sign just to show like how I calculate the number for September. So September is the 9th month. Whoops, I don't know where to go here. September, so 9th month, and then the year 2020, and I just put a plus sign in between each number. And then all of that added across, and it equals 13. And then we go down to a single number. So I put the plus sign between the 1 and a 3, and it's a 4-month. So a lot of themes came up for us for September. And one of the main things is the breath. Okay. So the energies feel very nervous, like nerve-wracking. Our nerves will be on edge. Anxieties will show up. A lot going on. So it's hard to relax. It's hard to keep calm. It's hard, like, to feel like everything at times will be okay. So that's where the breath comes in, because it doesn't mean necessarily like all the bad is going to go away or all the stress is going to go away. It's just the breath will help, bring ourselves back down and, calm the energy, right? And sometimes, we might find, like, when we are stressed out or get caught up in any kind of anxiety this month, like we're taking either quick, short breaths or we're holding our breath. So that's where, to just kind of be conscious of that. Like, okay, if you're doing that, stop and take a few deep breaths, just in and out to calm and, relax, untense the body, right?
Right.
Busy again, and 4 likes to keep busy. So again, it's related to our mind, the intellect. So it's really hard to shut off the head because we're always thinking, even when we're trying to go to, when we go to sleep, like it's bedtime, all of a sudden you can be dead tired and it's like, bing, your, head will wake up and you're thinking about everything, whatever, right? And it's stressful. And yeah, so our sleeps are going to be affected this month. I think too, for the majority of us, it happened for the whole year because 2020 is also a number 4 year. So there's a lot of reminders, a lot of things that we've gone through this past year will show up this month. That's why it feels like it's going to be tough and hard. And it's almost like, okay, we want to break free because we've been so restricted and we've had to be so disciplined, and we've had like all these rules and regulations showing up, and people, feeling like, we can't move. There's no movement. We have no freedom. We have to obey. We have to follow a certain protocol. And that's all themes related to the number 4. So, that's going to shift, starting in October. I just want people, to know, like, if we can just get through these next few weeks, things will start to, open up in October. Okay. So ideally, this is a good time. This is the last push, to simplify our life, to try to get organized. Discipline can be in a good way. So it's, let's say, if you want to get into a routine, or if you want to start something like an exercise program, or you want to incorporate a healthier diet, or you want to break certain habits, this could be the month. Like, okay, I'm going to have the discipline to follow through, like to get this going. Okay. It's interesting. Oh yeah. So work and jobs comes up. And it's interesting too, because this past year, like a lot of people have lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Work has been, in the spotlight a lot, right? And seeing like, not just, let's say it's about like, what kind of jobs there are, but we're seeing like what the work life is actually all about, like how some people still struggle, or like the conditions. There may not be as many benefits. They're having a hard time like making ends meet. Yeah. Go ahead.
There's been so much change in the world anyway, with quarantine and pandemics and inflation, because everything has gone up in price, as well as everyone losing their jobs. So it's really, really scary.
Yeah.
And changing career paths, because those jobs are just not even available anymore.
Right.
Right. Service is really hurting in the U.S. especially, because the restaurants are really scaled down. It's open at all.
Yeah.
And there were so many servers, so many people relied on that income to feed them.
Yeah.
Really
So it's really shaking things up, because I mean, I get with the work industry this year, and especially this month, like it's a focus on the working poor, because it's like there's so many people who are working, but they're still poor.
Right. Homeless.
And it's something I feel like, it keeps coming out, but it's like, okay, how is this going to be addressed? What are we going to do to make it better, right? Make it easier. Because that's the whole point of it. When, all these unpleasant things that are coming up, it's with the number 4 energy, it's about like, okay, how can we make it simpler and easier and be smarter about it, right? And, I feel like there's still a lot of things like unsolved or not, rectified, and that's fine. Like I feel like in the coming years that there'll be room for that. Well, those will be addressed down the line. It's just like what's coming up.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when you say like, how things are going up, and it's like, more, right? And the 4 energy, it's like there's a focus on lack, because there's this, you know, sense of there's not enough. So there's not enough money for everybody, or there's not enough jobs, there's not enough, you know, time, or and whatever it is, there's this focus of, you know, not being enough of something, and it's like there's lack, right? So we see the discrepancy between, you know, the rich and the poor, whether that's connected to people, a system, you know, food sources, monies, it doesn't matter. We see, you know, the scales are not even, right? Yeah.
And the forward swords, the forward in the tarot is a little bit different, as you know. I mean, there's the holding on to it, of course, with the pentacles, the four of pentacles. She's grasping, you know, what she can, they're just different cards. But there's the rest and recuperation after war too, after battle card, and that's just a timeout too, because it has been hard times for everybody, and everybody needs to let it process what's happened before trying to get to that next step, because you're just going to be repeating yourself.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, you know, the four, you know, where it's tough and hard, like the four is an energy where it's like, okay, let's roll up our sleeves and get to work, right? And it's not always necessarily like, depending, you know, this depends on what cycle you are in, right? So it's going to touch it, you know, there's going to be certain areas of everybody's life where it affects, you know, differently. So for some people, it'll be like, you know, getting to work on their inner selves. And for some people, it's getting to work in their family and home life, right? But it's, you know, everyone, it's like they have to work hard at something this year, right? And it's, you know, we're laying the foundations, we're laying the groundwork for the years ahead, because the 4 too is about the future. It's hard to focus on the present, and the 4 is like about reality and what's real. So, you know, it's, so it's like, okay, we're talking about, you know, the tarot and numerology, but it's with the 4 energy, it's like, it's got to make sense. It's got to feel real.
It has to,
you know, right? It has to be believable. Like it's an energy that's like, I want the proof first, and then, you know, then I might believe, or then we'll go somewhere with that, right?
Well, for a while it was like the secret kind of mentality. If you believe it, you'll see it. You know, that was a push, and then, you know, now it's like, I got to see it. I've been lied to way too many freaking times.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Just take your word for it anymore.
Right. Yeah. And it's, and action, and the 4, it likes action. So it's like, you know, you do have to, you know, if you want something in your life, you have to take some sort of action. That's the energy of this year. You can't just sit back and wait. Right? And you're going to, and the thing is, it's like, you're going to, you know, if you procrastinate it, it's going to come and bite you in the butt somehow. Okay. Yeah. So the other things too with this month is, I saw the symbol circles and full circle. So so that was really interesting. And then when that was coming through for me, when I was looking at the different numbers, that's where I saw the Fool Tarot card jumping in. And the Fool is the number 0. It's a circle, right? So you'll talk about that in a few moments here. So so with the circles, it's like, you know, things, you know, circling around back to us. Things coming for, you know, a lot of us full circle. So that could be good, because it could be a time where, I put so much work into this over this past year, or the past how many years, and finally it's paying off this month. All that hard work, it's full circle. Yeah, so that it could be good that way, you guys. Yeah, so that's really good. Yeah. And then also too, I like to tell people, like, maybe looking back, depending how old you are, so a year where it adds up to a number 4. So one that comes to mind is like 1984.
Yeah.
So, because that's a number 4 year. So if you can remember, it's like, okay, what happened in certain years, that some of that's going to come back this month.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of where I was in 1984. Good God.
Yeah, we were young.
I was 18, I think. 18 maybe. I don't know. 66 I was born. I think
That's brave of you to give your age away. Good for you.
yeah.
I'm I was in junior high. Yeah. Oh, you know what I was doing in 1984? I was like making big changes. Like I was like, I'm not going to go to, that was the year we had to pick, the high school we were going to go to.
Oh,
And I was like, you know what? I don't want to hang out with these friends anymore. And I don't want to go where everyone else is going. I had to break out of the box and do something completely different. Yeah. And yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. And I want to say, I think I was babysitting a lot. I don't know.
My first job was Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know if they have that in Canada, but I think they shut down now from stupid COVID. But I was the hostess at Chuck E. Cheese, so I was the birthday hostess. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we did have Chuck E. Cheese. I don't think we have it anymore here.
No, I think they shut
No,
down.
I think quite a while ago. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so and then the yin and yang came up with the circle, and that's interesting because it's like, the two sides and like the four, a lot of things, it's like, looking at the good and the bad. Also too with the year 2020, I want people to know like this is a time where, we need to look at both sides of a story. We have to balance things out.
Yeah.
That's the decade we're in. Okay. I wrote down two. So the last few things I want to touch upon is stretch thin came up as a phrase that I could hear for the collective. So for some, it's going to be like our nerves feel stretched, to the limit, or maybe our physical energy, we feel stretched thin. Money, it could be like, we're stretching thin with our finances. So be aware of that, okay? Doom and gloom. So, the forecast, yeah. Yeah, so I know a lot of things I shared, it may not all be, happy-go-lucky stuff. And for those that are interested, you can read the forecast. I have it written in word form. I address that too because the forecast that I wrote sounded very gloomy for the month. And
it's the time of doom and gloom right now, though. So it's just another show that this energy will shift out because we're at a crescendo right now, is all.
Right.
And we're on the precipice of breaking out of this if we could all hold it together.
Yes, that's right. Because it's going to start to change in October, you guys. So just hang in there, take a breath. Just, sometimes if it's like, take it moment by moment. If that's what you need to do, you do that, right? Doom and gloom too. It's like, it's not just me. Like, so be aware of what you watch, what you read, because a lot of the things out there, I fear there's going to be a focus on the doom and gloom. And it's like, okay, it can be helpful because it can be like, okay, you can clear things out of your system that way. You can address certain things that, so we can elevate ourselves and move on to something better, improvement. But just be aware of the doom and gloom. And then life and death. So I feel in a way, it's not always literal, life and death. It feels like it's a phrase a lot of us will use. Like we'll be looking maybe at our lives or certain parts of our lives and we'll be like, you know what? This is a matter of life and death. I can't keep this up, or it's a matter of life and death that I need to improve this part of my life, work harder, or might be a matter of life and death. I want to reach out to this person and make peace or make amends, even if it's just for me, right? So that comes up as well. But too, it could also be, a matter of like, people addressing, the area of life and death, right? Like literally, right? So yeah. So right. And I think that's one of the gifts of COVID is because we live in a society where we don't talk about death. We don't incorporate it into, our conversations or our lives. It's almost like out of sight, out of mind. Like it's so we struggle with that subject. A lot of us do. And it just feels like that's one of the gifts of COVID is like, it's bringing death to the forefront, and, to have these discussions and to explore our belief systems and maybe talk about it more, address it more, right? So, there can be so many positives with it, right? So,
Well, I wouldn't know. I mean, so I set up wills and trusts, and
right, yes,
I work at a law firm. I'm paralegal, and so my job is basically death. We do business law too. We do contracts and all of this, but business is not doing too well right now. So.
yeah,
But it is, so you were talking about breathing and getting through things like that too. And all of that is, and I talk to people all day long that use this, is distraction. Because when you're in the grips of that moment, you have to distract yourself. And breathing is the number one way to do that, because you're so focused on your breath in the moment that it will distract your brain from having that break like you feel like you're going to have in the moment,
right,
Not easy. But then they do have, see, I have a more openness to talk about death because that's what I talk about all day long. So when I'm just talking to people that don't work in probate and things like that, I can come across as being very cold about death. So it's kind of
right,
a line, I'm very compassionate.
yeah,
Break my heart, especially as you know, how many clients have I lost that I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Everyone,
yeah,
everyone.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, even like I just found out week, last week, beautiful woman that I met on a trip that I took
Yeah.
a few years ago, passed away. And yeah, so it was interesting because it's like it was very close. I think it was the end of August going into September. So it's like, oh, okay, so the energy of like, life and death took place that way for me, and it was like it brought up like, oh, I'm glad I got to meet her, and because she was a wonderful, wonderful woman. But I don't know, I'm going off track. I don't know where I was going with this, but
Well,
anyways, it's
the energy of death is around us. So you
yeah,
have
yeah,
to protect yourself and kind of, if you can, I feel like when with so much death and chaos around us, we're coming out of that, thank God. But you have to protect your energy because there is a law of attraction in play. So you're talking about doom and gloom, and you're going to have a tendency, of course, everyone's in those frame of minds at some point, or once a week or once a day like me, but you will attract that to you.
right,
So it's a really big, big time for creation right now. You're manifesting every day because you're coming out of this unknown that we've never been in before. It's a whole new world for all of us.
right. And that's where, it could be helpful to get busy, right? Or to get down to work. It's like it could be a form of distraction, and it can maybe take you out of that funk to say like, oh, I feel like I got something accomplished. And I don't care if it was like you cleaned out your fridge or you went for a walk around the block, right?
Maybe
It's
20
something.
pounds or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something, right? So
Right?
yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you
I would love to hear how people handle those moments, of that loss, that pure, how do you get through? How do you navigate it? Because it's different for everybody, Everybody has to self-soothe in times of stress.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, do you want to talk about the Fool Tarot?
So the Fool Tarot, I thought that played in so well with your energies, by the way,
Okay.
because yeah, the Fool, I think the Fool gets a bad rap for one, because he's he's oblivious, the Fool. He has no preconceived notions of what that next step is going to bring him. He's got his protection in that card. He's holding in the traditional tarot. He's holding a white rose, and he's got a little
Okay.
white dog at his feet. So and that's for protection and guidance for sure. So so I looked up a few definitions. So Webster's dictionary definition of the Fool is a person who acts unwisely. Well, in the tarot, that's just so not true because in the Fool, in the tarot, he's oblivious. He's He's not unwise. He just doesn't know any different. He has no experiences to judge by, which we all have, you know. I mean, we are all fools in some form or another at every point in our lives because we don't know what's ahead of there. You know, we're in the unknown.
Right.
Just like now with this new world and viruses and things to think about, masks, you know, protection. Even the argument over masks was interesting to me, you know, because we're just not coming together as a collective right now. We're just too divided, too far apart, you know, worldwide right now. So we've got to go through this, as painful as it is. We've got to be the fool right now. We've got to take that first step into the unknown, but we've got to do it with our white rose and our white dogs, with love and divine guidance, and step out there into the fear. It's the only way through. You know, whether you're dealing with death or jobs, or it's loss of some kind. So the fool is unaware of that loss, though. He doesn't know any better. He's never experienced anything. He doesn't know happiness. He doesn't know sadness. So he's just a fool on the hill. It's a song that we were talking about. So my husband told me the story about the fool on the hill, who the townspeople felt bad for this fool because he was fool. And they didn't appreciate that fool in their town or whatever. He was too oblivious to know any better, you know. So they all got together and they got him a gift, a fool gift. And he had experienced, he was thrilled. He'd never had a gift before. He never even knew what happiness was, so he loved that they had thought of him this way and got him a gift. So he runs up to his hill to celebrate his gift, and the gift falls off the mountain, off the cliff, and he loses the gift. Well, the fool falls to his knees, and he's so in despair because now he knows loss. He never had experienced loss before, so it's his first taste of loss with the fool. So the fool is just inexperienced. The fool is not, you know, unwise. So I'm just trying to take away that kind of stigma in the fool energy, because the fool's the best place to be. I mean, you literally don't have any preconceived notions of where you're going next. It's anybody's guess. So there's no better place to be. And then the fool, the tarot is referred to as the fool's journey. Some people have referred to it as the fool's journey. So the fool goes on this journey to experience life. He knows nothing. And the first person that the fool comes across is the magician. So that played in well with your September active energies, because the magician is all about activity and tangible creation. You know, the magician is the first start. But he also needs, at the same time, it's not really shown, but number 2, which is the high priestess energy. So the magician is kind of considered the positive of the tarot, and the high priestess is the negative side of it, only because the high priestess is mysterious and she's all about the unconscious, where the magician is all about the conscious. So the fool needs that balance, of course. You can't see shadows without light, and you can't have light without shadows. So you have to have that the magician and the high priestess are just as equally valuable and just as desperately needed as each other for that balance in life. And that's the fool's first step, is to the conscious and the unconscious, the yin and the yang, the circle of it all, you know. And
right.
And the fool can either be placed in the very beginning of the major arcana or the very end of the major arcana, because the 0 really has no number in the tarot. So, and the fool is constantly present through the tarot. Through every card is the fool, because he is the courant. He is the journeyman on this path. So that's a tarot take on your September energy.
Yeah. And I think too, like, you know, that's interesting, because like the fool, like taking the step and then but not knowing how it's going to work out, right? And the 4 too is about steps, right? And then that plays in with, you know, the animals that came through. So I also, when I do these forecasts, my guides will share with me, okay, this is going to be the power spirit animal for the collective for the month. And for September, the mountain goat came up. And it ties in with the 4, and then you'll share a story of how it ties in with the Fool Tarot, because that blew my mind.
process.
So, so the 4 is like about steps and, wanting to climb up, wanting to elevate our lives in some manner. And the mountain, that's what the mountain goat, like the mountain goat climbs, right? But it takes it step by step. It doesn't go too fast. It doesn't it knows when to stop, when to rest. If something crumbles, if it has to backtrack, it will. So that plays in with the 4. So it's like, okay, just take the steps. You're not going to know. You want to know how it's all going to work out. You want it to be worthwhile. You want it to be worth your time and your energy. But the 4 is like, no, just you're laying the groundwork because you're not going to know how it's all going to be right away. That's the whole purpose of the 4 energies. Just take those steps, do little by little if you have to. And it's going to affect your future, but you just don't know how. And that's how I feel it, relates perfectly to how you explained the Fool Tarot. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was looking at the mountain goat as the totem. See, what is the spirit coming through to you? Because I always listen to you when you have your little animal spirit things coming through.
When I get the mountain goat?
Yeah. Well, any animal spirit you pick, I always am looking up because you're very in touch with the animals. I feel like I am too. So I feel like
yeah. So it's interesting with the mountain goat. Right away I got the 2 main themes has to do with like climbing.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's like and I see a mountain with the goat actually, and it's like if we look, because it's a number 4 year, and then we're number 4 month. It's like, okay, if we were to look back this past year, we've had to climb through a lot or over a lot, whether that was as a whole society, or individually as a family with friends. It doesn't matter. No matter what area of life it affected, we were climbing through and over stuff, right? And still feels like it this month. It's almost like this is the last push. We still have things to climb over, or to get up to, right?
Right.
And then the steps. So it's like, okay, this is a month, like what steps do you need to take? Because you want what do you want? Because we're looking ahead, like the 4 likes to look ahead, and the mountain goat, I think when it's up there, it looks ahead, right? It looks over. Yeah. So it's like when we look ahead now, it's about our future, what we want to break free from, because it's been a restrictive year.
Absolutely.
So it's like, what baby steps do we need to take right now to create what we want in our life. Yeah. And it's like we might stumble at times, because I also see like the crumbling underneath the feet when I look at the mountain goat going up the mountain. And I feel like that's normal. Like that's normal. Okay. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because it's going to make the path easier somehow. And it could also be a teaching experience, right? So it's like, okay, like clue in to what that stumble, that crumbling is, trying to teach you. What can you, so you can like get over it quickly and move on, get to your next step, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it's strength. You got to take that first step you got to put down that first brick to build any wall. You can't just step out of depression right into glory.
And I think we're stronger, or we're resilient. And I think that's a big part of the mountain goat too. Is like it has this strength. It may not be the biggest animal, or maybe not the toughest animal in the kingdom, but it's strong. Like it's got this resilience. Like to climb up mountains, that's something, right? Yeah.
He's sure-footed. He doesn't know what that's going to bring, but he's sure he's.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. That mountain goat is focused. So that's that's applies to us. It's like, okay, what is it that you truly want for yourself, or want in your life? And it's like, okay, you got to take some actions. You got to take the steps and just follow through. It's something that for sure that you feel like this is what I need to do, or this is what I want. Like no ifs, ands, or buts, right?
And it doesn't
And
matter what it is, like how silly you might think that is. Like for me, I went through such a hard time a year ago, maybe longer, a little bit longer. But so I just started listening to YouTube tarot card readers. They fascinated me. I love to see what the YouTube readers gather from the cards. You know, they just fascinate me. So I started listening to those, and but it was a distraction. See, once again, distraction is the key. Because then I started ordering myself a few more tarot decks. I started learning more about the tarot because I knew the tarot my whole life, uh, but I always had a healthy fear of the tarot. You know, my grandma never really let me look too much into the tarot without scaring the shit out of me. So I
right.
did it anyway, but I was old before I did. And I still feel like grandma's up there going, oh, but she helps me now, so it's okay. But but distraction. I just thought, well, let me learn this. Let me see. I don't want to not know what I'm thinking or talking or seeing. You know, I want my take on what these cards are saying too. I know the technical. I know what they mean, but I want to know what do I think they mean, you know, as far as that. So I just went on a little sabbatical any free time I had because I worked a lot of hours and I had to really fit that in. So I know people say, oh, I'm too busy, but I was up at 3 in the morning, you know, with my headphones in listening to YouTube readers because I was interested in that. So, but not that that's what you have to do, but just distraction and don't feel, I thought that was so silly to waste my time looking at cards. I had so many more things going on, you know, to think about.
Right.
But I didn't let it go. I didn't let it go. I kept with that distraction until I started feeling a little bit better about other things. And then I could kind of get a grasp on my mind of this crisis. Okay, I can deal with this now. But, you know, 6 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to deal with this crisis. You know, you just get a little more strength along the way. But just hang in there. Hang in there.
Yeah.
You're sure-footed. You just don't know it, but
Yeah.
you are
Yeah.
sure-footed.
Yeah. And it's interesting because when you say hang in there and hanging on, and
Right?
that's part of the four energy,
Yeah.
you know, so like all these people saying like, you know, they want it to go back to this or
Right.
they're trying to hang on to this in their life. Like
Yeah. It's coming
try not to be so hard on everyone who has that thinking or, you know, because that's part of the energy of the four that's playing out. And you know, four, you know, that's like creature of habits, you know, it likes stability, things to be regular, things to be normal, like all those words normal, like that's all connected to the four energy.
familiar,
And
you know,
yeah, familiar, yeah, yeah, and
familiar.
like the sense of security, yeah. And it's like um you know, you know, there's, I know there's been a lot of things have been uprooted, right? But the four is teaching, okay, what kind of security and stability is important to you and you want to create in your life, and what, and then like even like if we look generally as a collective, it's like, okay, governments are having to look at that,
Oh yeah, big time.
right?
Oh yeah,
And not all of them are addressing it well, or you
yeah,
know,
right.
but that's
Please,
another story.
I
That's
can't
another,
wait for this to be over. This election, being in the U.S., I don't even care anymore. I just need it to be freaking over.
yeah.
Be done with it all.
Yeah, so it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. It's been tough,
Oh
right?
yeah,
And
talk
hard.
about
Yeah.
hanging
Yeah, so
on.
you can see like how it's been tough and hard, and but we're learning to be resilient and strength, and that's how I feel like it's all accumulating this month. Like it's all coming to a head this month. It's all, you know, we're all going to move out of that near the end of this month going into October finally. Okay?
Oh, we will.
Don't
Absolutely.
give up. Yeah, don't
There's
give
no
up.
stopping it. See, all we just need is
No.
a little bit of momentum. We got the
Yeah.
momentum going on the unrest. We got that
Yeah.
down pat.
Yeah.
Now we just got to get the momentum going on all as well. And it is, but we've got to
Hmm.
remember
Yeah.
only with love. That's the
Yeah.
only way all as well as with love.
Yeah,
We
and it's
cannot
fine.
have division.
Yeah, and take, yeah, and that's where the breath can help. I mean, it can just
Yeah,
be a matter of like, okay, you know what? It's fine, or I'm gonna be okay. I'll survive this, and we'll find a way. Like it's,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. You're the fool. Fool's the best place to be because
that's
there's
right.
no
Yeah, yeah,
motion here. So
yeah,
sky's the limit. Sky's the
yeah.
limit.
And the other thing too with the fool, I think maybe we should address is like it could just be in a way kind of a metaphor where, you know, we might be, you know, some. let's say we might be inclined like, okay, I'm going to go after this goal or after this plan or dream, whatever. And it's like others might say like, what a fool, you're being foolish, you know, or you might even say that to yourself, like, am I being a fool wanting this or going after this? Is this a foolish thing to do? Right. Yeah, with our decisions and choices, we might even like reflect at other, you know, corporations or the government, say like, you know, what a foolish, you know, choice they're doing, or they're acting like fools, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, it feels that way too. I mean,
yeah.
everybody's got a soapbox now with social media. You know, everybody
Yeah.
has a voice. So
Yeah.
it can get awfully loud. Don't get lost in those voices. Don't compare yourself with where anyone else is at on their journey, because we're so individualized here. There's no one way fits all for sure.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you'd like to add, or
Um, Boy, I
no?
can't think. This is fun though. I love this.
Okay. So yeah, I checked. So there's a few people that joined in and said hello. Nobody wrote any questions,
Maybe
so
we'll
that's
get.
okay. That's okay. It's our first time, and um, you know, Julie and I want to keep this going. We want to do this weekly. Pretty much, I think every Monday we've decided, and we're just going to. It may not be at this time. It may be earlier in the day. Like Julie and I are going to discuss that, but we kind of want to make it kind of like a routine. And we're hoping that with time, you know, we'll keep the momentum going, and we'll have this like flow where, you know, it's everyone just, you know, feels the flow of what we're trying to share. And yeah.
Yes, and please ask questions, comment.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have something to chat about with everyone for sure.
Yeah. So if we, yeah, and we're even thinking like, you know, maybe once a month, Julie and I are going to just have like open, what we call like an open call. So those of you that would mean like, oh, you can type in a question and we'll answer it like according to whatever modality we use. So me, it could be like, oh, with the numbers, and Julie with her tarot cards. Yeah. Oh, someone actually, Trina says she has a question. So Trina, I'm going to type, Trina, please ask away. Yeah. So we'll see if she's still here.
Did we lose Trina?
Well, it's interesting because, and this is like the system that we're using, we're still learning it. So there's features on this program that we're not quite used to yet.
No, we'll get it.
So we're just, you know, waiting for those that type.
I think we did pretty good, honestly, for our first
I
time.
hope so. I hope it.
I didn't even say the F word.
No, you didn't. But you did say shit. So.
Oh my God!
That's okay. That's okay. It's like, yeah. Okay, so she's still typing. Personal number year. You would use the universal, you now ties in. So now would we continue? Oh, so she's asking a numerology question about the personal number year.
Yeah.
And about calculating it.
Yeah,
you would use
about that.
Okay, so I'll give a quick lesson. So when it comes to the personal year, so personal year is your birth month, the day you were born, and the present calendar year. Okay, so let's say
day and a year.
Yeah, so you would go, let's say if so let's say your birthday's in January, so I'm going to just go January 20th and then 2020, so it would be 1 plus. As I'm sorry, I'm quiet. It's like I'm typing. 1 plus
the numbers always boggle my brain.
Plus
like I don't even get why September's a 4 and a 4. Like where's the 9 go? What's happening?
So the 9 is because it's the 9th month of the year.
So that doesn't count? The 9 just gets
yeah, it does count. So okay, so I'm going to bring up my paper here. Where?
Well, I see it written down there, but I don't see it.
Okay, so when I do numerology, I use paper and pen.
Okay.
Because I like to write out on the paper the dates, what I'm working with, and that's how I start tuning into the energy of the numbers.
I get it.
So I add everything together to get the main number.
Okay,
which is the 4.
It.
And then I will look at, okay, what are the other numbers telling me? So like the 2020, the 2020, and then September is the 9th month, right?
Right.
So that will count too. So yeah, so I will, when I tune into the energies, it's like there's a bit of everything that comes through, but a lot of times more, more one number than the rest, right?
Right.
So yeah. So for some reason this month, it's like the number 9, like the 9th month is like trying to really make its influence known for us. And and that hasn't happened, like that didn't happen last year, that didn't happen the year before, so the number 4 is important, but it's like the number 9 is like pushing a lot of its energies through, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what's Trina's birth?
I don't know. So
number
2020. I should have picked a different number here. January. I'll go like that. January 3rd. Okay. Whoops. It's 3.
So you told me my life path number is a 1.
Okay. So this. Yeah. So no, I think she was talking about like the personal year cycle. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equals a number 8. Year. So, and I'm just going to put that in. So how you would figure it out, and I'm going to, where's my felt pen? So, I used the example January 3rd. So the personal year is about what's in focus for the person during the calendar year. Okay, so let's say your birthday's January 3rd. So you go January 3, and then the present calendar year. Okay, so January, because it's 2020. I don't care what year you were born when I'm doing your cycle, okay? So then you would put the numbers underneath and a plus sign. So, because I added a cross. So I just wrote out January, it's the first month, so it's a 1, and then the 3, the 3rd day, and then 2020. And you put a plus sign in between each number and add it across, and it's a number 8. So this tells me this person is in a number 8 year.
Ooh,
Okay. Yeah, so that's what Trina wanted to know. Yeah, and so Trina, I'm not going to talk about your personal year cycle on this call, but if you wanted to share your birth month and the day you were born, and then I will do the calculation for you just to see you understood.
And those are fantastic.
And my explanation made sense. Yeah.
Those are great. The year numbers, like I remember you told me last year I was in a 9, and so it was all about endings, and it really was, really. I mean, that really got me through to hoping for this number 1 year that was to come for me.
Right, yeah.
I needed to know that it's time, so it is important to see what you're in.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, I mean, if you don't know anything about numerology or don't have a sense, but you come to me for a reading, it's uncanny what is going on in your life or what you're focused on matches with your personal year cycle. So it's like this, it's just, it's there, and it all makes sense. It all comes together, and it can help you, navigate the year for yourself and what to expect, and, things you can do to make it a better year.
And I always say the cycle starts really 2 months before your birthday because the energies already start shifting before your birthday arrives. So
right. Okay. So So Trina, she's asking now. Oh, so she knows her personal year, but she wants to know if it starts in January, the cycle.
No,
and it's like Yeah, so this is where it might be confusing. So everyone pay attention to this
Yeah.
part. I'm giving another lesson in this. So
Part.
this is the personal year cycle. So I find with the personal year cycle, that's what number you are during the calendar year. Okay, not based on the year you were born. So you're okay, so let's say I'll use this again while I'm talking. So this is from experience, okay? It's not because it's written in any book, right? So my experience from doing many numerology readings is I found that people's personal cycle, everyone has their own calendar. So we all follow a calendar January to December, right? Everyone does in our society. But the cycles I find, no, that's not how it works for each individual. So I found like a lot of the cycles change about 2 months prior to your birth month.
Yeah.
So a person like, so January, right? Their cycle changed in November of 2019 for the year 2020. So 2 months prior. So it starts to change. It's like light, it's not like bang, here you are, right? It's lightly because you're like leaving the last cycle, going into the new one.
Right.
And then as each month passes, the momentum grows. You grow and go into more and more of that present cycle. Right. So this person, let's say this was their birthday, they started changing into number 8 year back in November 2019.
Yeah.
And then it'll start to come to an end this October because they're going to be changing for 2021 in November. Yeah. Yeah. So Trina, so I think your birth month, I had just, I don't know if it was in August or September, because I know she had shared with me a few weeks ago that it was her birthday. So 2 months, so 2 months prior. So if you calculated you're in a 6 year, so your 6 year, let's say if your birthday, it was in August, it started changing in June. Yeah. So she did say August. Yeah. So so your cycle starts in June and it goes to the following May. Yeah. So that's your calendar. That's your cycle. It doesn't start in January. Like some numerologists, I'm not saying they're wrong or that's bad. That's what they work with. That's fine. My system is everyone has their own calendar and it starts 2 months prior to their birth month. That's me. That's my experience. And I'm sticking with it. Yeah. I believe it. I see it. I know it.
It's the truth, damn it.
Yeah, that's right. God damn it, I'm the expert. Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's exciting. So Trina started that kind of new journey, probably that she didn't even really pay much attention to in June-ish.
With her cycle?
Yeah, because the 6 in the tarot is moving on from troubled waters, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
So something new has begun, I would imagine, that brings her passion, maybe.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So Trina's just saying like, oh, she would stay with number 6 until June. So yeah, basically, yeah. So until next June, you would be, so June you would start changing. Oh, and see, she confirmed that. She says she does feel the change a couple of months prior to the birthday. I think most people do. They're just like not conscious or they don't always acknowledge it. It's like, and then it just gets stronger. Yeah. So it's like there's this, vibe and it's like this is what you're drawn to or pulled towards. And it's like,
I've never been a fan of my birthday anyway. I always feel like I'm just ready for it to end already by the time it gets there,
Yeah. Yeah. So
doom and gloom. Super excited for this one though.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be okay. Yeah. And then we'll when it comes to October, we'll talk about the energies for October according to the numbers and whatever tarot comes through because I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. Alrighty. So what do you think? Do you think we're done?
Yes, I think we're done. I love it.
Okay. Well, I hope everyone that came and watched, you enjoyed, this show. And
thank you if you did. If you listened to all of this, oh my God.
Yeah.
You.
I hope we fascinated you
Right.
all, and like you were at the edge of your seat, like, wow, I learned this is great stuff. Yeah. So yeah. And I believe if you've missed this broadcast or part of it, it will be on my Facebook page. Here we go. I'm just going to change it. Enlighten Energy. So there you go at the bottom of the screen. Yeah. So those who are new and just first time you've discovered me and then Julie. So I have a Facebook page called Inlightin Energy. So yeah, please come and visit and check it out and maybe even follow and like it. That would be great. Julie here, look at that. She is available for tarot card readings. And if you would like to get in touch with her for more information, to book a session, there's Julie's email. So that's her preferred way of you getting in contact. And Julie's in the US.
Yes.
So just, it's not a bad thing. It's just, I guess, I don't know why I said that. Just in case, like if you're wondering, maybe too, if for the rates, like, because I know I'm in Canada. So any Canadians, if you're asking Julie for reading, maybe just verify, like if she's charging in American money or, for the exchange rates. Yeah. And then
splits coming up. I want to talk
pardon me?
about your sales splits on your reading.
Oh, yes. So that's right. Thank you, Julie. Oh, that's why I like you. You remember the things I forget. So as a thank you, and in conjunction with kicking off this new type of broadcast, this show, the idea, I'm going to be putting my numerology readings on sale from now until the rest of the month. So 30-minute sessions will be on sale for $50, and that's in Canadian dollars, regularly $75. And the 1 hour numerology readings, I'm going to put them on sale for $125. $100. Regular regular $135. So you're saving $35 on the hour readings, and you're saving $25 on the half an hour readings. And
okay, you're going to go on. I was going to say, is that both? What if they want the card reading and the numerology?
No. So it's just the numerology. I won't be doing the cards. Just the numbers. So the numbers, the only difference is the time that we spend. 30 minutes to 1 hour. So 30 minutes, it goes by quickly, you guys. I try to talk fast and get in as much out as possible. But I know I don't always, because it's only 30 minutes. 1 hour is great because, there's a lot more time for me to share that much more, right?
And you really do go in depth for sure.
Thanks, Julie. Yeah, and I've had some card readings from you, and they've been like, you really knew what was going on for me in that moment and what was coming my way and what to, how to be prepared. So yeah, that was great. Really appreciate that. So on the bottom going across is my email. If you want to get in touch with me for more information or to set up a booking, that would be great. And then there's my website. So I have a website. If anybody wants to read more about my story and read more about what I do, Julie doesn't have one, but in time, maybe, right? Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. So
thank you so much, Tina. This has been really fun. Great. Thank you so much for including me.
Oh, you're welcome. Julie's like a sister to me, you guys. And we have fun. We talk, as often as we can. And we always have a great time when we talk. And some of our conversations are go really deep too, right? So we hope to bring that out to the public, right? And but also invite you guys to join the conversation,
Yes,
right? With your comments. Yeah, comments and questions. So thank you everyone that joined us. We went like close to an hour. I didn't think we'd be that long. Yeah.
Oh, well, good.
All right, everyone. So we'll be back next Monday. I'm unsure of the time as of right now, but I will make a post and announcement ahead of time. So yeah, so stay tuned for that and mark it in your calendars to keep next Monday open. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
good. See you
So
there.
bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.